I'm on Campus Way on the Oregon State University campus, and through this archway and a little bit on, this path turns to the Midge Kramer bike path, which will lead to Bald Hill, which you might be able to see, but it's pretty foggy out there. And that's where I'm going today, which is New Year's Eve, December 30th, and it is rainy. This is where the road turns into the path, and we're still on the OSU campus. Specifically, we are on the part of the campus that is the agricultural facilities. And I'll just be continuing down the path. This is the covered bridge over Oak Creek. We were here this summer, and when we were here this summer, September, I said the water was really low. So this is what the water looks like when it is not low. It's really high. You can see it's covering some tree chunks, but it's not really flooding because over there you can see there's still some of that gravel bank there. And after heavy rain it might actually flood, but for now it's just kind of the normal December high water. Okay, I'm going to continue down the path. Right now on the path, this is a flooded little woodland. You can see there's some trees that came down. And in the past 2 weeks, like a lot of the United States, we had some severe weather, ice storms, windstorms. So, as is often the case, some of these trees came down, presumably then, maybe earlier, but they look pretty fresh. And the weather today is rainy. It's pretty obvious, and cloudy, dismal, but unlike the rest of the United States, we're not having really severe weather right now. And it's good enough weather for a bicycle ride. One kind of curious fact is this path, the Midge Kramer bike path, was one of the first places I made a video when I first started doing that in September of 2020. And also one of the first places I went when I got my bicycle back. And it's interesting because it's pretty close to my house, but it's not close enough that I can just like walk here casually. I still have to kind of make a plan. And it's not far away enough that it's exotic or somewhere that, you know, I'd make an effort to go to, because if I'm going to go for a ride, I'm going to go faster. So even though it's a very nice bike path, very nice scenery, for some reason it slips my mind. But I'm here today. A rider just passed me. That was the first rider I've seen on this section of the path today. Saw more closer to town. And obviously I've been here where there's dozens of people on this path, but today, cold day, end of the year, people are tired, people are busy. It's just me and the road. Here's an interesting feature of the park. We have this preserved old barn. I don't know the history when it was built. On the city website, it does say this is original barn, so this is not some, you know, quaint recreation for tourists. This is a real barn that's now used as a quaint spot for tourists. You can rent it for events. But I'm just going to stop here for a minute to get a bite to eat, and then I'm going to continue down the path. I'm just listening to the sound of the rain on the metal roof. And I wish I could listen forever. But I still have places to go. And it's not a great day for people here, but that can make it a lot better of a day for animals. That's an egret. There's actually a pair of them. I have a longer video about them, but this rainy weather isn't stopping animals like egrets at all. This is perfect weather for them. So I have noticed some wildlife, maybe not as much as I would at other types of year, but still, it's busy for animals here. Along with being a recreational area for people, one of the reasons this is here is for habitat. We have wetlands preserved here, and that's important for animals and also for water retention, so there's not flooding. So like a lot of natural areas, it serves dual purposes. And I'm just going to continue down the path almost to the point where I'm going to turn around, ride back. So this is the end of trail. This is the parking lot. So you can see 5 or 6 cars here, so there are still people here today. And there's the road out there, and I could actually ride back on the road. That's the road that goes by my house, but it's not a very fun ride. And here's Oak Creek. It's very full, like we saw earlier. This park also has a lot of side trails, and today I only went on the main paved trail, but it has a lot of unpaved trails. And obviously I don't want to do those today for several reasons. And so I'm just going to go back on the paved trail. This is something I'm going to have to check on, because this says Dunawee Creek Regeneration Project, and it says this is a source of Dunawee Creek. And earlier I said I was over Oak Creek in that direction. So it could be that this little bump, this is the continental divide, so to speak, between the water that goes into Oak Creek and to Dunawee Creek, which both lead into the Marys River. So that's something I'm not clear on, but one thing I do know, and I've said this before, there's a lot of different small creeks in this area. So earlier when I was looking at Oak Creek, I said the water was high, but it wasn't really flooding. And here on, I think it is Dunawee Creek, it is flooding, overflowing from there. And it's forming a pool across the road, and this is 53rd, so this is a pretty big street. So this is going to cut off a lot of traffic. So I saw the sign that said road closed, and I wanted to see why, and this is why. Looks like it's only a couple feet, but that's still enough that cause some problems if you're in a car. I could actually walk across it, but I'm not going to. I'm going to turn around and go back on the bike path in this direction. So I'm almost home. You can see the covered bridge a little ways down the path. So I've lived here for over 2 years, and the problem is, you know, this is a very beautiful place. I dreamed about it before I came here. Before I came back here when I was in Chile, I was like, I'd like to be walking around the Willamette Valley again. And the thing is, after a while, a lot of it becomes standard, and it's easy to forget how beautiful it is. And so one reason I go out, even on a dismal day, is I might see something like yet another egret that reminds me that all of this normal stuff isn't so normal, that it should all be appreciated. Kind of a cheesy message, but it's true. So that's why I go out, and hopefully by showing it to others, I can help other people, you know, just think and appreciate about the world around them. And thinking and appreciating is fun, but it doesn't keep you warm and dry, so I'm going to be going home and appreciate a warm bath.